us to the time where it's live time.
The last 6 episodes, which is what we're talking about, the last 5 episodes, juicy. Real juicy. So to remind, Jesse and Allie are engaged, that they went to Nashville. Stephen Jr. and Calla are on again, off again, and Steve McBee Sr. is nowhere to be found. He is missing in action.
Indeed, but maybe he did sign a waiver, so...
He did, because we see him, and I had a couple theories moving through this series of episodes, but on the very last one, they give us some, like, real catch-up. Like, I was thinking, oh, maybe he had some work done. Because we see him in, like, episode 7, but no. Anyway, hello, everyone. This is But I'll Take a Pinot Grigio. I am Sunday, the pop culture professor. I am self-proclaimed expert on all things pop culture and reality TV, really heavy on the self-proclaimed. And now I am a semi-expert on the McBee Dynasty.
On farming and cattle and all that.
Yes, I have learned lots of vocabulary. Joined with me today,
it's Nolan. Hello. Just a McBee pop culture fan.
Yeah, so let's get into it. Episode 6, a little business too. The schedule's going to be changing a little bit here and there, so you guys keep an eye on it, because Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip 20th edition is coming the first week of August. Jeff and I are covering House of Stassi. Meanwhile,
I forgot about House of Stassi.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun. You have to watch along so you can come talk about it with us.
Oh.
Did you watch Vanderpump Villa?
No.
Yeah, I did. You know, I'm a sucker for anything. I found a YouTube reality show about witches in Salem called Wicked Witches that I am enthralled by.
It's only on YouTube. How good can it be?
You know, I think that it's somewhere else, but that's how I accessed it. But, you know, I'll watch a lot. Nolan's threshold for cheesiness is way lower than mine. I will love it. We will talk more about that when we get to the McBee wedding. But this one is called Never Seen a Rock So Big. That's episode 6. Why is it called that?
Because Cole takes Casey to the mountains, and she's never seen a rock so big.
There you go. That's what it is. I completely forgot.
Which, when I first read it, I was like, somebody else getting engaged, but...
they wanted us to think that, I think. So, they have just come off the Nashville trip, and Brayden...
No, the Ozarks.
The Ozarks, that's right. They come up from the Ozarks, and they're trying to brief Allie about what happens. In this exchange, they're at Allie and Jesse's house, and Casey gets a little loud here.
And they're also doing so much back and forth between the farm and the house and the city. It's like every scene in this, like the last 5 episodes, is them going back and forth. Like it's so much driving they're doing.
And they bounce between scenes. Sometimes it's like quite literally 30 seconds of one scene to 30 seconds of the next. But they're briefing Allie about the Ozarks. And that's my bad. They're not coming from Nashville. They're coming from the Ozarks.
Yeah.
That's my mistake, y'all. And we all remember what happened in the Ozarks. Cole got mad, was punching the dirt. He's too tough to cry. That whole...
While actively crying.
Yeah, that whole exchange between him and Calla. And Casey kind of pops off a little. And he was...
She's just pregnant and not having it.
I know. And I can't imagine being around this group of folks dead sober when all of them are acting a fool.
I lived this.
Yeah.
My boyfriend was a terrible drunk whenever I was... I mean, there was only a few times where it happened, but I mean, you're just so irritated because everyone else is drunk too, because nobody has, a right mind to you can't talk to anybody. So you're just like, oh, okay, whatever. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Well, you can't really do anything about it then.
That's what Casey says. She says, no, what's embarrassing is having the drunkest boyfriend at the bar all the time. And I will hear that. But... Yeah. All of that, as they're kind of recapping the fight between Calla and Cole, which I want to lay this out right now. I was Team Cole.
Yeah,
he did not raise his voice in a way that felt intimidating or disrespectful. And that's when Calla was like, the truth is going to come out. You're going to be buried with it too. The way she says buried is wild. But it's in reference to the FBI investigation. So that's kind of looming all over everyone's head. And Steve Jr., so they were together, and then broke up after Ozarks.
I don't know. I think they were like trying to figure things out at the Ozarks, but now they're definitely broke up. Like they said that Steven said that she blocked his number and she packed all her bags and got out.
And she said she literally
sacrificed her life.
And meanwhile,
to be there for Steven.
And that he would cry to her every day. So obviously the right thing to do is to tell everybody his fucking business. This FBI investigation, she said it on camera a couple times when she said buried.
Yeah.
But she's had his back and she feels like he has not had hers, which we don't know much about her outside of her relationship with Steven Jr.
She must not have a good, like, fam. I don't know.
No, I mean, her sister died earlier in that year, but we don't know, like, what does she do for a living? What does she like to do for fun? What's her relationship like with her family?
Yeah, and she's like, Steven never supported me like I did for him, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, what did you need support on?
I mean,
what are you doing to need support for? I mean, I guess your sister,
but
I don't know. But
maybe
they got back together when her sister died, so obviously he was there for her.
Yes, but then she found out that he orchestrated all these folks to not talk to her, not reach out to her, then lied about them reaching out. But he is shaping out. We thought that Cole was going to be the more Steve Sr. like figure, but it's not really. Steven Jr. is the more Steve Sr. He is the most insidious. He's the most manipulative.
Yeah.
He is absolutely the most hell-bent on pitting his brothers against each other, but still being the boss, but also still being the victim, but also
and also still trying to be their friend and rope them into their...
Exactly. And him and Galena have lunch, and she's wearing a very strange jacket. The one that said...
He said something about like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, Mole Cherie on it.
Like, I was like, I like your jacket. Your jacket's really cool. Where can I get that jacket?
Probably because it was designer. I don't know that to be true, but imagine it was probably expensive. And there's some awkward chit chat, but then they try to sort of empathize about their respective breakups.
Yeah, well, and also they're the only two that know about this FBI stuff. So they're also like they're two like confidants with each other, so they can kind of talk about that together because nobody else, well, except for Kala, knows about it.
I will say this too, where he says outright, I chose my family over Kala. Good luck to any girl that's with this man ever.
Yeah.
There is scads of evidence about you have to sort of like disconnect these familial bonds to reestablish with your wife. So any woman he's ever with is always going to be second to this family. But he's like, listen, man, don't talk to Masha.
Yeah,
please,
I mean, but like, I don't
stay
know.
The fuck away
he
from
was
Masha.
like, yeah, I think it might have been a good idea. I mean, a bad idea that we brought them to the house together. Yeah, no shit.
You think? Because she calls her a prostitute, whatever the Russian word for prostitute.
Or something like that. That's what she says.
And
but like,
she admits that she's been drinking to cope, which, okay, I hear ya.
Word.
And this is when Christy McBee, Mama McBee, comes up and she admits that she hurts Christy. And now that it's happening to her...
Yeah, she says that that's Masha was her karma.
Yes.
Well, I mean, probably that's how that works. But
I like how, though, it didn't really occur to her that this would be hurtful or terrible or awful until it was done to her. Right?
Yeah, I mean...
And that's kind of an emotionally immature stance to take. Like, you don't really... It's like saying, oh, what would you do if someone treated your daughter that way? Or... You could think about,
just be a nice person.
Yeah, you can just perceive everyone as human beings. But anyway, Masha is a real thorn in the side. And I found it to be so strange, Nolan, that she's around and Steve Sr.'s not.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, is he in hiding? Literally, the next bullet I have is Steve Sr. running from FBI? Question mark.
You can't run from the FBI. Ask Al Capone.
And then I put, Steven wants that jacket. Because he'd be commenting on it 4 times. He was like, that's a cute jacket.
And he says, you got to move on. Well, I'm just like, well, Steven Jr., why didn't she think of that? Well, thank you so much for saying this very enlightening thing.
I didn't think about that one.
Yeah, like, oh, come on.
But also, Steve Sr. asks Jesse and Allie to hoard Masha's beat-up Porsche in their garage. I was like, why do the boys have to do everything for him? And he come home and do it yourself.
But it's that, but it's also he puts them smack dab right in the middle of all of his relationships, and then he makes his relationships so fraught and so
just toxic.
Yes, and problematic. And so now the boys are smack dab in the middle of all of it, having to sort out all these feelings and all these connections. And I'm gonna tell you right now,
because they all live. You could throw a nickel and hit their house, so they're all right next up on top of each other. So.
It's fucked them up. right?
Yeah.
It's fucked him up. And so Nolan mentioned Masha's car in the garage, and Christy goes to Jesse's, and she's like, hey, whose car is that? And they have to tell her.
Yeah.
And I won't spend too much time on it, but some of you, if you guys are in the middle of the country, y'all probably know Arthur Bryant's more than we do. But the big deal is that the McBee meat facility is going to strike up a deal with Arthur Bryant. That becomes more important later because they fucked it up.
Yeah.
And they trimmed it too lean. I don't know enough about barbecue or making barbecue.
I was going to say, so like brisket, is a fatty piece of meat. Anyway, we were just talking about this last podcast when I said I didn't really like brisket too much because it's super fatty.
Yeah.
But you have to leave all that because that's where the flavor comes from. So they literally cut to a scene of Steven being like, yeah, let's just cut all this fat off. And so it shrunk like so much because all the fat burned off. And you have to have a lot of fat, so some of the fat burns off and some of it stays.
And they do a side-by-side, and it lost like 30% of the volume. And so strike number 2 for Steven and the McBees.
Because first it was late last time. Now it's too small.
So then I guess that they're all together. And I just wrote, Jake's wearing a shirt that says orgasm donor.
No, I did not even notice.
I know. This man, he just really trying to do it.
But, also, Steven also cut 6,000 pounds of the meat already. Like, pre-fatted it all. So, like, there's 6,000 cuts of meat, pounds of meat that's just, like, MIA. So they don't know what to do with.
Cole voices over right here, and he says, that's what Steven wants to do. Steven sort of gets, and I'm going to use phrases that he didn't, but he gets hyper fixated on something and wants it all done immediately so he can check the box and cross it off the list and be done. Because we've learned that Steven is
very type A.
Right. And he really likes to feel in control, and making things done and getting tasks done is soothing to him. Well, in this case, he's done all of this, and as we'll learn later, Arthur Bryant says no thank you. They're
right.
Like, we're out.
I literally wrote, Cole, not surprised Steven fucked it up.
Yeah.
But also, the crops are looking good this year. I wrote good in quotations because we don't know what that means, but crops are looking pretty good this year.
Yeah, row crops. We did learn that phrase. Row crops is the kinds of that you obviously
and then, also, we kind of hear about, like, I think Mom McBee, like, says to one of the boys that everyone's replaceable, talking about Galena, because I really think that she's worried about the boys a lot. She's really concerned about them, and Galena's kind of like this firecracker that they don't really know what to deal with. So she says she's replaceable. I think she kind of wants her out of it.
Yeah, I mean, and the elephant in the room is Galena ended their marriage. And I'm going to kind of jump around here too, but
but we also get all the tea on how that happened.
Yes, tell us a little. Tell us a little tea here.
So Galena she owned like a little like cleaning company. She was cleaning their house, which Mama McBee says it was a very large house.
It's a very large house, everyone.
But she was cleaning the house. She said she had a really good job. She had really good work ethic. And
yes, she did. She was working towards getting that man in her bed.
And so then Mom McBee found out they were having a thing and then filed for divorce. And then Galena didn't know that she knew and texted her afterwards, like talking about cleaning. And that was like the last text she ever got from her.
And Christy says that once she knew how involved Galena was with, her then husband and the business, then she filed. But she's also alluded that there were other women all along the way.
Because also she says too that she was working in the city and he was obviously on the farm, and she would come home on the weekends not knowing that Galena was cleaning the house on the week. Wink, wink, cleaning the house on the week.
Cleaning the house meaning fucking her husband.
Yeah, so like she didn't know that, and she said that she was like naive about Galena, that she didn't really think that she would ever do that, and then as soon as she found out, she was like, nope, divorce.
Which is kind of makes it all the more bitter that Galena is so ensconced in this business. She is so key in all of these dealings. And meanwhile, Christy, which I don't think she's doing bad. She's not over there like, eating cold beans out of a can, staring at a wall under a bare light bulb or anything. But I think it is like a bitter pill to swallow for Mama McBee to say, oh, okay, well, this woman really sort of stole my life a little bit. But Steven is really worried that once people start to understand this FBI investigation is a thing, and he says this now and he also says it later because the sentencing comes up later. And once people get word that there's an investigation, they're going to start bailing out 100 times from now. Steve Sr. has fucked all of them. He's fucked them in their trauma that he gave them as children. He's fucked them in their ideas about relationship. He's fucked them in business. And now he is generally...
Now he fucked off.
Yeah, exactly. And so this is where you get Masha coming to pick up her car, and it's so awkward.
I don't know, maybe she doesn't speak English very well, so she doesn't talk a lot, but she's fucking weird.
I don't think it's because English is her second language. I think that it's her personality. She's very much silent. And I don't know. She's a weirdo. We don't know much about her. But you know what? I would rather watch that baby calf come out of that mother cow than watch her interact with people, because she is so hard to watch. At least Galena, I don't really know, because Galena's not easy to watch either. She kind of makes me feel...
No, I wrote somewhere else on here. I don't know where it was, but I wrote, Galena would be, like, if I didn't know who she would be scary to talk to. The way she's so intense with her eyes, and she, like, stares at you and, like, kind of comes at you in a certain way. She's I don't know. She's
and then there's
scary.
and I'm like, oh my God.
She's just super intense.
She
weird.
is. And I think maybe that's culturally a Russian situation. But as they're watching the calf be born, Uncle Jimmy talks to Cole about Casey. Treat her like you would your mother. Or, and hear me out, everyone, treat her like a human being.
Yeah, right.
And
well, men just don't perceive women as humans unless they have something to compare it to, like their mom.
And I don't know if I probably don't have to guess who these folks voted for, but in terms of their views about traditional gender roles and masculinity and, where women play into it, I feel like they have a very traditional idea of how they want it to play out. Casey seems like the perfect little blank slate for Cole to kind of mold her. Allie, on the other hand, I don't know. And maybe
she went to college.
And also too, Jesse's so sweet, and he's the sweetest of them all. And I can't say one bad word about him because he is so cute. He's my favorite McBee brother.
He is really cute. The dimples are too much. Like on Steven, they kind of look weird, but on Jesse, they're super cute.
And Steven Jr. is talking about trucks and yield totals, and it's less than what Cole predicted, and they're going to lose money, hand over fist, blah, 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 blah. I don't know.
Yeah, they're 50 bushels short per order. Yeah. So that means they're looking like $200 down per order that they projected.
Nobody cares about that.
Okay.
What we care about is that everybody's mad at Cole because he gave wrong predictions.
He predicted a lot more, and they're thinking they're not going to be able to make that $6 million payment.
Yes, over and over. Take a drink every time they say $6 million payment. But
in the middle of all this,
Cole's taking a baby move.
Yeah, he's going.
And it's sweet. He's taking Casey out west. This is what Nolan was saying about the biggest rock she's ever seen. Because he's proven that he's going to be cool and put them first.
He's changed. He's a changed man from last episode.
And every one of these people blames Steve Sr. for how they act. He blames his dad. He didn't set a good example. And which is so funny because
this is true.
It is. But you see it. What can we do? What kind of therapy can we have? What kind of cognitive behavioral changes can we make? What can we do?
But they go to the mountains, which is really cute. Everybody loves the mountains. I think it's kind of like when it's about to get cold. So I think it's probably August when we're at right now.
Yeah, it's in and around August.
It's like fall, which is the perfect time. It's not too cold, but it's kind of hot where they are. So it's really nice for them to go.
Sweet. And then we have this whole thing where Christy and Galena are going to meet. But did I hear it right where it says Christy asked Galena to meet?
Because Steven planted that thing in her head when they went to lunch. She was like, Galena really wants to see you. She really wants to kind of make amends. Was
this for real or was this producer driven?
Probably producer.
It was producer.
They're like, you should do that. You should really get your closure. You should really work on that.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to make really good scenes.
But I also wrote too really quick about the Cole and Casey trip. I was like, one trip doesn't change anything. He's talking about how after this trip, he's a changed brand new man. I'm a new person after this. I'm really changed. One trip to the mountain for 3 days isn't going to do it.
I think what's happening is because they have been so disconnected from adulthood and what I perceive as real masculinity in terms of in touch with their emotions and accountability for their actions, that going with Casey to this baby moon or whatever, it almost like they're acting like a real couple. They are cosplaying what it would look like to be two people who love each other, who are in a supportive, equal partnership. And I think that is appealing to him. He just doesn't know how to do it. He doesn't have any skills to do it because what skills would he have? I bet that Christy McBee waited on Senior hand and foot. She made him a sandwich. She made him a drink. She did his laundry.
I mean, there's a scene later where Steve Sr. is like carrying Casey's like bag, and she's like, "You didn't even carry a diaper bag."
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, I guess that's probably true. But also, like, I don't know. Maybe you're right. I don't know. But also, he did it at the worst possible time ever. So it's like he's either fucking over Casey or he's either fucking over the farm. Like, you can't, you got it. There needs to be a place where you could kind of be in the middle.
I think Steve Jr. is sort of now that Steve Sr. is gone, he's sort of taking over the role of these women. Yes, these women are just trying to control. How dare you do something nice for your woman when we're out here? And I just think he's jealous and he is lonely. And the idea that Cole would prioritize his family over the business is very foreign to him. Therefore, it's very insulting to Stephen Jr. And so, you know, they just stay mad. Cole's like the redheaded stepchild.
I swear.
They can't come around in a way. The combine blew a tire. They're mad at Cole.
They're like, God, Cole's not here to freaking handle this.
Yes. The bushels are wrong. We're mad at Cole.
Yeah.
The moon wasn't full. We're mad at Cole. Like it dumps all on him. And these episodes, I saw a side of Cole.
It was sweet.
It was. And I think that he, aside from Jesse, because Jesse is our darling angel, but Cole is really trying to figure out how to be a man, how to be a husband, how to be a dad. And, you know, their dad's not around, so he can do it without judgment. He can do it in his own way. And I am appreciative to that because...
Well, Stephen did say, he was like, look, Cole's so worried about with that family, there won't be a farm for that family to be on.
Which is a wild thing to say.
I'm like, all right.
Exactly. Because that's a wild thing to say. That's like saying, Nolan, you know what? I got to take care of my house. I'm so sorry. That's going to be a house for you to live in. Meanwhile, you're like burning in the front yard. No, I got to take care of my family. I got to put the fire out with my family. It's just a wild thing to do. But I feel like Steve did that always. Yeah. Always. So we get to Mama McBee and Galena sit down and...
Wait! We've talked about how pretty the lodge was. The cabin, it was like a cabin resort. Yeah. They're like on a whole resort land that had like a bunch of different cabins on it. It was so cute. And also we find out that they planned this pregnancy. Can't skip up. They said that we planned this pregnancy. It's not like it was a surprise. We planned it.
I missed that because earlier in the set of episodes in the season, she said we didn't plan it.
She literally said they planned this pregnancy. It's not like it was a surprise or anything like that. So they planned it and they agreed to let's be together forever.
Nolan, why would this woman do this? Why would this woman?
She
Speaking of an anchor baby,
I was just about to say that's probably exactly why she did that.
I mean, these folks don't want the anchor babies, but they certainly will, abide this. This is a dangerous position for Casey to be in. I mean,
I was going to say she is just setting up her life is what she's doing.
Yes, but not really. And I am not one for some traditional steps about, get married, have a child, all that stuff, because I didn't do it that way at all. But it's very dangerous for her to not have any sort of security in and around her life and her baby's life with this fortune. And
I said, they don't work or we don't know what she does.
Exactly. And I just feel like you're in danger, girl.
Yeah.
But
Okay, now dinner. Yeah, sorry, I did talk about the planned pregnancy because I literally went, I'm like shocked out loud. Shep was like, what's wrong? So I was like, just
surprised. Galena didn't realize it. Like I said, it was happening to her. And so Chrissy looks at her dead in the face is like, get yourself together.
Yeah.
Pull it together because she has enough oversight to know that if Galena doesn't get it together, everything's going to fall apart. And we'll say more about that. And that's where the episode ends. We move on to episode 7, Nashville Hot. This is where I was dying to get to at the beginning of the episode because it's not eventful, but it does highlight some character development of these because now Steven is single. Steven's about to get married. Cole's about to have a baby.
2 weeks at getting married, and the baby's 2 months away, and they're planning that. Well, Steven plans the Nashville trip.
Yes.
To go get taste some seasonings for one day, a whole weekend for one day.
Sure, Jan. But when they come back, Cole's mad. Everybody's mad at Cole again because he put it on Do Not Disturb. Good for you, sir. It was quite literally 2 nights. this couple went away. Like, calm your tits.
But they do have lots of meat going out, which I thought was very smart. They're delivering it straight to customer, which I thought was kind of smart, like around the holidays too, because it's about to be the holiday season. It's about to be November for Thanksgiving. I thought it was kind of smart. I mean, Steven's not completely dumb for
No, I don't think he's dumb at all.
But I feel like that was a really smart move, was delivering straight to customer. Because, I mean, who wants to go to the grocery store for Thanksgiving? You know what I mean? Like, smart,
I mean, for sure. But I don't know if Ed needed 4 days in Nashville.
Well, this was before they left for Nashville, when all the beef stuff was going out.
Right.
And then they go to Nashville for the spices to complement their
But
meats.
it also coincides with Jesse's birthday weekend.
True. And also a little mini bachelor trip is what they were calling it.
Right. And Cole is missing his, quote, paternity shoot. First off, not a thing. He is missing the maternity shoot in which he was going to participate with.
But also he missed the baby shower, which I know men don't traditionally go to the baby
it
shower.
co-ed though, right?
That's what I say. I know men don't traditionally go to baby shower, but like, come help me put all this shit in the car.
Yeah, word. That's a thing. But we're officially like 2 weeks out from the wedding, and Jesse has really straight white teeth. But I said this when we were watching. Neither one of them have any upper lip situation.
No,
like, they are all just missing it. And Steve Jr. is sad and alone because him and Calla are still broken up.
Yeah,
and it's so hard.
And Cole makes Steven call Casey for him to ask if he could go to Nashville. And she's like,
stupid.
Yeah, she's like, are you asking me or are you telling me? Are you like telling me you're going? And Steven's like, well, what are you going to say?
I mean, really, he goes this big, long, drawn out thing about the spices and the this and the that. Just tell her y'all are going.
Yeah.
Like, come on. And I am not trying to reinforce any kind of ridiculous gender norms, but Casey, you pick this man. You know, and like, if you plan this pregnancy, you understand what you're getting.
To Casey that he won't drink a lot.
And he'll text her before bed.
Right.
And he will not appear in any Instagram reels or I don't know.
But also, Jesse did not tell Allie that they were going on this like boys trip. They just were going for spices, and obviously Casey's going to tell her. You know, so I was like, God, that Casey just can't keep a secret to save her life.
Oh my gosh, she's the worst. And also too, I really need Casey to find herself some kind of infrastructure to support herself in her life. Like,
make a mom talk, sell some products on TikTok, do something.
Get an Etsy shop.
Do something.
You know, get a massage license, do esthetician stuff. Like, find something that you can support yourself on, because if you were sitting at home taking care of this man's baby, waiting for him to walk through the door every night, that is going to be a very lonely existence. Yeah. And because, as we know, all of these boys always put this farm first. They always put the business first. And
they put the brothers first.
Yes, they put the brothers first. That's a really, really good way to put it.
Because I literally have Steven just needs some brother love and good time. He's single. He wants to go out, live his life, which is a flashback to last season where Steve Sr. did the exact same thing when Galena was pressuring him to death. And so it's like literally a flash forward of the same thing.
The way he's talking, he's just so worried that things are going to be different. Now that Jesse's married, now that Cole has a baby. Yes, friend. Things are going to be different. As you age, as you move through the phases of your life looks different. And your brothers just happen to be getting there before you. And even if things were going good with Calla, I don't think he would have proposed to her or had a baby. Like, no, this man is just not going to do it.
But yeah, Casey had some rules. Call before bed. No girls at the house. Allie had some rules to keep in contact, keep Cole in control, and no Instagram reels of girls on their Instagram.
I like that one of her rules was about Cole.
I know.
I don't know if Allie is really worried about Jesse. I don't perceive that she is. I think
she just wants to know what's going on, like any normal thing. Like, it's not hard to send a text every few hours.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not hard to just let somebody know what you're doing. She's probably just worried about him.
I do think, though, there is a little bit of a seed of insecurity and about how attractive he is and how he moves through the world, and all these beautiful women are throwing their panties at him.
She said that before, I think.
Yeah, and so I think that's part of the don't show up in any Instagram reels. But of course, the mom takes her side, and she's like, I can't believe that they're doing this. This is terrible.
They learned this just from their father, blah, blah, blah. But Brayden is single, too, and he's going.
Brayden's cute now.
Yeah. I would say now. I feel like him and Steve Senior might have had like some weird vibes growing up or something, because now that he's not here, he's around more. But, like maybe there was some like, I don't know.
Yeah, but he's there, but he never says anything. He's not involved in any stories.
He's
not involved in any stories. We don't know anything about this man. We don't know where he lives. We don't know. We've never even seen him in a scene with his mother.
Mama still.
Yeah, but we've never seen him in a scene together. But he's cute, right? But Chrissy stays heartbroken. I'm heartbroken these boys would do this. I'm heartbroken that Jesse would do that. I'm heartbroken about a prenup. I'm heartbroken. She says
it's a very Southern thing to say.
I know. But she stays frustrated. They have no respect for women. And of course, always, this is where Nolan and I diverge. She blames Steve Senior. This is where I perceive that she needs therapy, and Nolan thinks that maybe she has had some therapy.
Yeah, the way she was talking to Galena when they were in the meeting, the way she kind of manipulated the conversation to make it think that it was Galena's idea, like, you really need to step up to do this for the boys. You need to step up and do this to help the boys out. Like, I know you really care about them and all that kind of stuff. I really thought that was smart. She was like, manipulating it in her own way to make her do what she wanted her to do.
But the way she always dumps everything on Steve Senior, these boys are grown. They're grown up.
That's maybe they haven't gotten there in her therapy yet. Maybe she's worked on herself, and next is Steven, or
and then
Steve.
There's all this prenup talk. Let's talk about the prenup, because Allie, girl, if you're listening 2 years ago, I need you to know that you're going about this wrong. You could have played this in a way that was perfect. Tell Jesse, okay, all right, go get a lawyer, have that lawyer draw up, okay, you know what, not only do I get 12.5%, but any future children's going to have 10%, and anything that we do, have this giant prenup.
Make him wish he never gave you one.
Slide it to him and be like, hey, you wanted to sign a prenup? Here you go. And then when he says, whoa, no, then you can be like, okay, well, let's talk about it then, to protect both people, both folks. And I just think that she's going about it wrong. She could really use this. And if they do divorce, which I know everybody's like, oh, prenup, you're just asking for divorce. No, you want to make sure
that you're good in the end,
and your children are taken care of. Absolutely.
But Cole and Steven are like, no prenup, no name on the farm. But the name on the farm is McBee. It's not like it's Jesse, Steven, Cole, Brayden, McBee Farms. So what are they going to do? Make Jesse change his last name? Like, what are you talking about?
They don't have the right to do that. And the way
he owns 25% anyway. So it's not like they can.
And the way they try to manipulate, like, it's a red flag if she doesn't sign. No, the fuck it's not. It's a red flag that you're pushing this hard. That's what's a red flag. But it's Jesse's birthday, and Junior is so worried about change. Like, he's just worried that everything is going to be different and that he's going to lose time with his brothers. Yeah. You are, because they're about to have babies.
Yeah, and you can just change. You can still hang out. It just looks different. You know what I mean? You don't have to go out. Maybe have dinner at their house. You know what I mean? Time just will look different. You don't have to limit the amount of time. Well, probably. But,
Well, they go out to eat for Jesse's birthday, and Jesse...
Oh, also, we forgot to mention, Galena is in Nashville as well.
Yeah.
Because she's part of the, the board. She's CFO.
She was in the meeting, right?
She was in the meeting for the spices. So she's there, and they go to dinner for
Steve
Jesse's
Senior's
birthday.
coming. And this is where I was like, he looks different. Was he off camera because he was trying to let his facial surgery, his facelift settle? But we learn later why he didn't. But Galena's coming because Jesse, sweet Jesse, says that it would be rude not to invite her. No, it wouldn't. She's going to act crazy with your dad. It's just weird. She turns up. She wears a lot of leather.
She does.
She wears a lot of leather.
But there's 2 open seats. One at the end of the table and one next to Steve Sr., which, why they did that, I don't know. Probably to set her up. So she comes down there, I wonder which seat she'll sit in. Where do you think she sits? Right next to Steve, if you didn't guess.
Yeah, of course. So at the shower... Jimmy's wife, which is Uncle Jimmy.
Oh, yeah. At the same time, this is when Casey's baby shower is happening, which I was like, why would Cole go to Nashville when his baby shower is happening? But
I don't think it was co-ed.
Yeah.
But so somebody says that she doesn't know. Oh, he says that he'll always love Chrissy as much as he's capable of loving a woman. Who needs therapy? You do. Maybe you'll get it in jail. And she doesn't want to upset. So they're all sitting around, and he doesn't really want to upset anything. Doesn't want to, make it awkward. And then Steve Small starts dinging. Ding, 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 ding. Just over and over and over. And guess who it is?
Masha. Because she thinks that Galena's staying with them, and she's super stressed because Galena's there, and blah, 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 blah. I mean, meanwhile, they're just sipping water next to each other, super awkward, like at the dinner table. Like,
how are you?
Yeah,
Hi,
I'm
how
good.
are you?
How have things been in Mexico? You look tan.
Quick check-in. Do you think they're good tippers?
No, I don't know. Probably.
I think that, me
Probably.
too. I think they are real good
Probably.
tippers.
Steve seems like the type to be flashy like that. Like, like they're gonna remember me next time I come in here.
Yeah,
Hey, what do you do? I'm Steve McBee. Like, that type of thing.
Exactly. Like, I bet he is look, they're dropping $1,000 at the strip club.
Yeah,
every one
for
of
sure.
them.
I wrote Masha mad, G happy.
Yeah. Yep, that sums it up.
And then Steve goes and Steve Cedar walks to the bathroom because Masha calls him. See, I'm even getting mixed up. But Masha calls him and he's like, no, you're not coming down here. And she's like, I'm coming right now. She's like, no, don't come down here. And then he hangs up. And so she
winds up coming.
Yeah,
but we see her in a little bit. But they go out and Casey calls
44. 44 times. They say it 3 times. 44 times.
I thought they said 24. That's egregious. That's egregious. This man hasn't answered your first 5 calls, then he's not going to answer you. Like, that is wild. And Cole is on one. Also, I need everyone to be aware of a man who chants USA, USA in a bar. That's tough. That's a red flag.
And I literally thought that it was Jesse flashing his nips on the party bus, but it was Steven, obviously.
Of course it was
Obviously it was Steven.
Of course.
I was like, oh yeah, Jesse, go. And then I was like, oh.
Meanwhile, they're having this golden hour photo shoot, which Casey looks pretty. I know it was cheesy.
She does look pretty.
I know it was cheesy, but it seems really on brand for her, and she looks so good. Cole calls, and Allie she ain't having shit. She's like, why aren't you here? If you were here, you got to take her out. Take her out looking like this. Like, she just gets
Allie, I know. Allie's too much sometimes. But, I mean, I don't know. But also, we forgot to mention, too, when they wake up from their night out in Nashville, there's some leather boots in the scenario, and they keep playing it like it's Cole. Casey's getting ready for a maternity photo shoot, and they're walking up the stairs to see if it's Cole with a girl in his bed. I mean, that man's asleep in the bottom bunk of a bunk bed.
Yeah,
there's no girl in the bottom bunk of the bunk
over
bed.
his tail. But Steven goes to every level, knocks at every door. Sir, let these people live. Just let this woman live. But it wound out it was Brayden. And I did notice when Senior comes in, he's like, y'all be respectful when she comes out. Which, this right here, I know Missouri, it's kind of borderline Southern or whatever.
I feel like it is.
But this is some real peak Southern masculinity. All right, I will open a door for you. I will say yes, ma'am, to you.
Shit. Yeah, but I'll fuck you right where you want.
And I will cheat on you, and I will make you look like I'll dog cuss you behind your back, but I'm always going to pull your chair out. I'm going to carry your bag for you. This is some peak Southern masculinity shit here. And
they literally, she's walking down the stairs like, you want some breakfast? Oh, no, you good? Oh, okay.
Yeah, everybody else is just frozen because their daddy yelled out and they're like, oh, nice to meet you. So funny. But he calls. Cole calls because he's feeling bad that he didn't check in last night. Allie answers giving him shit. And that generally makes him sad. This is why I think that Cole is really kind of coming around, because he feels bad.
He has feelings now.
Yeah, he feels left out. And somebody breaks the news that Masha's in town, and Senior's like, what? Is she? I didn't know.
And they're all like, bullshit, you knew. And he's like, no, I didn't text her back, which I believe that because when he on the phone, he was like, do not come here.
Yeah.
It's Jesse's birthday. Do not come here. And what do we see walk up the stairs a few minutes later?
Yeah, is this before or after all the windows were busted out?
This was before and then after. Yeah. So she walks up, she goes upstairs, talks to him for a few minutes, they yell back and forth, and then she walks out, flicks him off, and then they're all like, bye, Masha.
And you can hear him arguing about Galena upstairs.
Yeah, she's like, I know she was staying here. I know she's staying here. And Steve's like, she's not
She
here.
wasn't, girl.
She was not here.
She wasn't. And meanwhile, Galena's at home at the bottom of a bottle of a Kim Crawford Sauvignon Blanc, worried that she'll never meet another person as good as
you can
Steve
only
Senior.
be so lucky to meet somebody,
like, come on.
But yeah, so she walks out, and then a few minutes later, they realize all their windows are busted out. How convenient.
And somebody does in passing, like, well, was it Masha? I don't know.
And then they do flashbacks to where Galena, like, had all the stuff.
And so they all come home, and it seems like Casey might be staying with Allie.
It kind of did, because she had her pregnancy, her photo shoot makeup artist come to the city, were they on the farm or in the city?
I don't know either. I think they're on the farm, but, and then she talks about offering her breakfast and all that kind of stuff later, so... Let's talk a little bit about it. We're going to move through. We're not going to do so many beat by beats, but so Steve Jr. and Mama McBee.
I just wrote, she is shredded. She is going to the gym.
Yeah, she got a glow up after her divorce. Yeah. But
she just is bitching about the Nashville trip, and Steven kind of snaps at her, and she's like, I will not be talked to like this, and walks out.
This is where I was like, Steven needs a fucking friend.
Yeah.
Stop relying on your younger brothers to meet all of your social needs and all of your emotional support brothers. Like, go find a friend.
Yeah, I literally wrote, Steven needs friends here.
Yeah, he's such a damn baby. And that's when she says, I'm going to take this shit off and leave right now. And she does.
She does. Yeah, so, he really does need friends. He's just so worried about how things are going to change with his brothers. But if he had other friends his age or that aren't in his family, he wouldn't need them so much.
And I have a question, too, one for the ages. Now that Steve's gone, why can't the girls go with him? Just let them go with them. They don't got to go out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can stay at the house.
That's what I said. You can do the same things. They just look different. You can do all the same things. They just look different.
And the boys are just so spoiled. They pitch a fit when things aren't exactly the way they want. They pitch a fit if, Casey calls 44 times, which egregious. Or they pitch a fit when their mom isn't on their side. They pitch a fit whenever they've done something. They're spoiled. They're so bad. This is the end of episode 7. And then episode 8, Panic on the Combine.
Panic on the Combine.
And spoiler, it's Jesse. Jesse is in his feelings. Okay.
Yes, but corn is done. Soybeans are next. Steven apologizes to his mom.
Really quick, let's take a break right here. And when we come back, we'll talk about the panic, the titular panic. So the panic in question here is our friend and cutie pie, Jesse. And Jesse and Allie are kind of talking about their refrigerator and they're making breakfast for Casey. And then we learn that Steven Sr.'s house has rats.
Yeah, I was kind of like, huh? At that point, I wrote, Casey and Allie are best friends. We get it. But
I think that Allie is Casey's best friend, but I think Allie has actual friends. She has an actual job. She has actual family. I think we don't know much about Casey's home life, which if I had to guess, I bet it's not super great. I bet it wasn't super stable. I bet her parents were like, okay, McBee's, you have her now. She's your problem now, which is not great. But
to me, it's like, this is going to sound ugly, but we were these kids too, but like a trailer park kid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, she seems like she found this man who's like got some money. She doesn't want to lose it. She's pregnant with the baby. She's really like, wants to stay in this thing. Because she even said last time, she was like, I'm a McBee now. I have a McBee inside me when she was talking about Kyla.
Yeah.
She was like, and I'm on their team now,
That's right. Yeah, you're right. And I think that she's very desperate to stay a part of this family. And that's why I even said it last episode where I was like, this is a keep a McBee baby, which you said they're planned. I am very reluctant to think that. I don't
she's
know.
Trying to cover her ass.
The way that Cole acts, you think that her and Cole sat down and said, hey, let's have a baby out of wedlock? Like,
well, you also say this thing that if you're not actively trying to prevent pregnancy, you're planning for it, or you're trying to have a baby, which, maybe it was like one of those scenarios and they're just like, oh, we'll cop to it and we'll say it's planned and not, tell anybody.
Or Cole just trusted her to take care of whatever birth control and she knew what she was doing.
Yeah.
So I'll just leave it there. But speaking of best friends, Allie and Jesse were best friends in high school first. Then they're high school sweethearts. This is another point of insecurity for Allie because how often do high school sweethearts make it? Like, I went to high school with this couple, and I won't say their names, which they're obviously not listening, but they literally started dating in 8th grade. And I remember, and they dated all through 8th grade, all through high school. I remember her signing my senior yearbook as her first name. Okay, go ahead and say hello. Shep's here.
Hello.
You'll say goodbye?
Bye.
Okay, goodbye. Love you.
And she signed her high school yearbook with her first name and his last name. They are still married. They have been married 25 years. And so it does happen.
Well, Aunt Allie, my dad's sister, her husband are high school sweethearts.
Yeah.
I remember playing in my grandmother's house and she had all of our high school notebooks and stuff. It was just me to play with and drawing. And she would doodle her name with his last name and put Allie and Mitchell together forever.
And they've been married 20 years. I remember you were a little kid. But the editors are just doing Jesse real dirty here.
It's like black and white. white snap back, like black and white snots, and like the music was just super.
And they're overplaying sound bites of his dad talking about women and his brothers talking about prenups, and he's literally sweating, like quite literally you can see the beads of sweat on his face. And
he was like, in the combines, you just start thinking about life.
And he calls it a freak out, which we understand it was a panic attack.
None of these people don't know what anxiety is.
He says it later. He says he had an anxiety attack later, but he's just thinking about.
I haven't seen Penny Lane anywhere.
He's thinking about his parents and how there was just no joy in that relationship. And that makes me really sad. He's super jaded because it was so dysfunctional. And it makes me so sad for these boys because...
And he also was just like, he doesn't want to disappoint Allie, which is a big thing.
Because he perceives that she's too good for him.
Yeah. Which is tough.
When him and Steven Jr. are talking, like, he's actively crying.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, apparently, this is very unusual because he's the most stoic one. Of course, Steven Jr. immediately calls Cole to tell that. Just tell his business.
And he says he has second thoughts. And I'm like, did he say that, though?
No, he did not.
And that's why I was like, he didn't say that.
This is Steven Jr. playing his dad, sowing seeds of doubt, sowing the disruption here. Jesse is feeling the tug of his dad being gone and his obligations to the farm. They're living in separate places. His brothers are pressuring him about the prenup. This is what he's feeling. And, you know, a lot of men, especially men who perceive traditional marriage as an end-all, be-all, he's feeling the finality of it all. Like, this is it. He'll never, ever, ever do anything else. Allie's is life, which they've been together for 12 years. So,
like,
sir, you already made that choice.
I'm like, what? I don't know why. I mean, I guess a wedding is kind of a big deal, and it's just like the finalization of like his life. But it's like, just because you're married doesn't mean your life is over.
And when Cole tells Casey about it, she immediately makes it about her. She doesn't say it, but you can tell how defensive she is, that she is perceiving herself and Allie. She says, well, he ought to be okay with it. They've been together this long. They're committed. Like, why would she even be this way? And she's just real dumb about it.
And she was like, he needs to tell her. They're like a week before the wedding. If he has cold feet, he never said he had cold feet. He's just stressing.
Yeah.
Everybody has jitters.
She's like, oh, conveniently, he wasn't feeling this way. He probably was.
He was. He even says it because they're talking about all this prenups on the boys' trip.
And it seems like whenever, like, she comes back, it kind of seems like Allie might be noticing a little bit that Jesse is feeling some kind of way. And the way that they were brought up is that anger is the only acceptable emotion to feel, right? Anger is really just a substitute for anything else. But if a man is angry, that feels normal. But if a man is emotional, or if a man is trying to like talk about his feelings, that is unacceptable. All right, Nolan, I have both a girl and a boy as a child. I never identified as a boy mom or a girl mom. What do you think about the term girl dad?
I just feel like we said earlier, that like men just don't have a like concept of women unless there's like something that they love so much, like an intangible amount of love, like their mom. They can't really explain that. They love her so much anyway. And like a daughter, you love her because you're supposed to, and you know, whatever. But like a woman that he just met on the side of the street, you know, whatever.
Yeah, and like being a girl dad means he's got to like interact with girl things. But Emily and I talk about in the city.
I mean, I feel like I'm kind of like a boy mom. Like I do.
You are a mom of a boy.
You know, so.
There's two different situations there. But Andre on In the City says, I'm going to be the best daddy girl. And yeah, because he speaks Italian. Italian's his first language, and his wife turns. He's like, you mean girl dad? He's like, yeah, but I like daddy girl. So Cole's a daddy girl. And the thing is, Chrissy, out of one side of her mouth, is pressuring him to get married.
I keep forgetting who you're talking about when you say Chrissy.
Mama McBee.
Every time you say it, I'm like, who? And I'm like, oh.
Out of one side of her mouth is pressuring him to get married. But then on the other side, she's like, oh, he's got some real growing up to do. Why would you? Because she
baby. She literally said out of her mouth that baby deserves to have a mama and daddy that are married. What does that baby know? What? She just wants to be fed and changed. She don't care if her mom and daddy are married.
And what she's saying is, I don't want people to think less of y'all that you got pregnant outside of marriage, whatever. So she forces him to go ring shopping.
Yeah, she is. She took him in, and that owner of that shop knew who she was. I wonder if Steven fucked up so many times, or Steve Senior fucked up so many times that the jewelry store owner knows who she is.
Or she's just in there spending his fucking money.
Yeah.
But she bullies him to do it, and he has no idea how much rings cost. Like, whatever.
The producers are shady. They're like, how how much do you think 2 carats cost? Which I had no idea.
Me either. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, like he didn't say the number, but he said $2,000, and they were like, look it up. And he goes, oh God. And he says,
did you look it up to see how much it was?
No, but he says this, and I like wrote it down. He said, I could take a loan out for that. So, like, you know, their whole thing is all these loans and loans and loans and loans. So, like, Daddy, so that's another thing that, like, you know, Daddy McBee has been, like, pressured on that. Oh, well, you could just take out a loan for that. You know, if it's this most expensive, just take out a loan, which the loans are fucking them in the ass. So,
okay. That's not a nice way to say that, but okay. But then we go to Steve Jr. and Calla, and this is where he apologizes to her. Because he was in the wrong.
He was not.
No, he was not. He was not.
Because Calla was coming for them so hard.
Yeah, and then he says what he calls losing control, and it wasn't her. And he asked her to go to the wedding. Why the fuck?
Wait, but
we want to go to that wedding.
But we forgot that Steven, this is the first time we've seen Steven and Calla together. He invites her for coffee. She talks about boarding her dog, and that this is the first time she's ever done that, blah, 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 blah. And the whole coffee exchange was very awkward. And I was like, did she board her dog just for coffee? But then the next scene where Cole's apologized to Calla, they're at Steven's house. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, so she stayed with Steven for a weekend. And then
we see Casey coming out of what the Chiron calls her office. Casey's office. What?
Wait, what?
Yeah, so Cole goes to pick up Casey because he's going to take her to this fun little date on the house that they're building, whatever. And the Chiron says Casey's office. What? What did she
Was
do?
it Allie's spare bedroom?
I have no idea.
Was it Allie's spare bedroom?
They're taking her to the house, and this is kind of where we had to kind of infer some things because the show did not really tell us, but they're building a house. We see that in the beginnings of season 3, episode 1, but they are building a house together. So we see that.
From what?
And I know, where are they getting this money? But it's a whole date night, which is literally a carbon copy of what Jesse did for Allie. And you know the whole time, Casey's like, this motherfucker's about to propose to me. He's proposing to me.
Well, he did. He got down on one knee, and I literally wrote, he's proposing right after they go ring shopping.
It's the key to the damn house, which is a mean trick.
Yeah.
But to her credit, she was like, I don't want to get married right now. I really don't want to be married. And you said this out loud. Don't propose to me just because I'm pregnant. And I appreciated it.
She says, too, which I thought was really funny. She says that Cole doesn't know how to read a room, which, yeah, no shit.
Yeah. These kids have a lot of trauma. And then, like Nolan was saying, that Calla boarded her dog so she could stay with Steven. I think it's a long drive, and so maybe...
Well, we looked it up. Dallas and Gatlinburg, what, like 8 hours?
No, Gallatin.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
It's like 8 hours.
Nashville's 8 hours, too. Kansas City...
is only like 30, 45 minutes.
Right, from Gallatin. So apparently Dallas is a long way, but she may have had to fly. I don't know. But Cole comes to apologize to Calla, and I wrote, for what? Question mark. He said he's feeling embarrassed. And I want to say this. I think he articulated things very well. He did.
Yeah, you even said he seemed like he sobered up a little bit.
Yeah. And he was talking about, like, I love my brother. My brother works hard, all of this stuff. But I would imagine off camera, we saw Steven Jr. grab him by the ear and be like, you better apologize to this motherfucking woman and you better make it right. And Cole's like, fine, I'll do it. And
do you think that's what happened?
Yes, I do. I think Steven Jr. absolutely made him apologize to her because he's trying to get back with her. Yeah. And she probably said, well, your family is so mean to me. Somebody's got to apologize. And so he made him do it.
I just don't fuck with Calla.
And me either, and neither does Steven by the end of the season. But there's some business about Topgolf, and I don't even really care about it. The only thing is that Calla turns up and nobody knew they were back together. Everybody's like,
Jesse's like, what the fuck?
And then the boys are getting the crops out at night. Jesse has another situation where he's got to think about his life and think about his problems and shit. And that's when he decides to tell Allie how he's feeling.
And they got into bed with his farm clothes on. Did you see that?
He was on top of the covers, which I appreciated.
She did not, though.
She was under the covers. Do not get into bed with your outside clothes on. What do you make of this conversation that they had? How do you think it went?
It was just awkward. They felt like they didn't know each other. Like, Allie just didn't seem like she was really, like, that comforting to him. Like, the whole thing just felt, like, weird and forced.
I know. And I wonder if maybe because they're not so comfy on camera, because surely they've been together 12 years. There's a comfort between them that I mean, like, maybe we're not seeing, because you're right. They do seem very awkward together, and they're always like trying to, it's almost like they're on like a second date.
Right. And like, I don't know. It's just because you see how Allie can be comfortable, like the way she is around Casey and the way that she talks to like other people. It's just like when her and him get maybe it is the camera, because I feel like I would probably be like that.
Yeah. You could never be on a reality show. You'd be like Steven Senior's looking at the camera always.
Yeah. I'd be like, like, are y'all seeing this shit?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Yeah, is that what I mean? Because I could do it. My life is fairly boring, but I could be on camera. I was born to be a star, but
that is true.
I don't know.
She kind of like, she seemed kind of annoyed. Like, she seemed like she was kind of pissed, but then in her confessional, when they were asking her about it, she was so emotional and crying.
And my major thing was, and I am mother to 2 children who have had their own struggles. I'm married to a woman who has her own brain chemistry. You don't ever ask what exactly caused your anxiety, because
you don't know.
That's right. A lot of times people cannot articulate it.
And that also feels like a pressure of like, well, let me figure out what's wrong with me.
And a better way to do it would have been like, hey, what was happening when you felt this way? What were you thinking about? Like, how can I help you? And I don't know, but he cries again, and she's in her confessional crying, and that's where we leave him. Episode 9.
Russian
invasion. And it picks back up with Allie, because at the end of season episode 8, she says, do you want to postpone the wedding? He says no, of course, because
he's not going to disappoint her.
Yeah, he's never going to. And I can't imagine how much money they fucking spent.
Yeah, no way.
He made a promise to have a better marriage with his parents. And every one of these boys are living in the shadow of their dad.
But not a good shadow, a bad shadow. It's like they're trying to compete, like trying to figure out how to be better than their dad, which is tough.
And every model they have, everything they have is based on what their parents had. But you can tell that he does feel better. All in all, you can tell that he does feel better after having spoken to her.
Yeah, for sure. Feels like a weight, probably.
Yeah, and he's just so sweet when he talks about her. I love Jesse so much. We do learn that he has a construction management degree.
I literally had that right there. I was like, what? But he can't get that damn arbor figured out.
Well, in his defense, we tried to build one too, and it was real hard at our wedding. So,
well, that one was metal and came with very hard instructions from Amazon.
Yeah, and they were building theirs from scratch.
Yeah.
They're really pushing to get the beans out.
Yeah,
farm.
The timeline is super weird with the show. So, like, right here, right after they figure out, like, figuring the arbor out, they say 1 day until the $6 million payment. And then later, it says, like, it's the last day of farming. So I'm like, did they, like, mix it up somehow?
Well, and he also says that having an October wedding in the middle of harvest season is really ill-advised too. So we know that they're in October.
And I thought it was hilarious too. Remember when Steven was taking those line dancing classes, whatever, and then he was trying to teach Jesse how to waltz, and he said, "I did it for 8 months straight with a 65-year-old woman. Of course, I know how to do it."
You know what I did notice though? That they wouldn't dance with each other too, because that's some gay shit, Nolan. Don't be gay.
Don't dance with your brother.
It's gay.
Don't touch hands.
But he did break through to us, like, just do it like a speed drill.
Yeah, like football.
And you know what I put my finger on? Yes, we're saying that it's Casey Dutton from Yellowstone, but Jesse gives Tim Riggins from Friday Night Lights. And, you know, that is that's my jam right there. It's just like, oh, Texas forever, which I guess Missouri forever. But
he's the one that was in the wheelchair, right? With the hair?
Nope, ma'am. You need to watch that. Go and watch Friday Night Lights immediately. Toss off Sopranos and start Friday Night Lights. It'll break your heart in the best way.
But now we go to the mock dinner. They have 169 people at the wedding. Which turned
out to be 250
by
the end. I know. No Russians allowed, Nolan.
Yeah.
No Russians allowed, which feels topical in this moment in our country now.
And then Jesse asks his mama what she thinks about the prenup. And she says, hell no, that's insulting to Allie and her family, because Allie and Allie's mom and Mama McBee are really good friends. So she thinks that would be rude, which if they're really close, I feel like that kind of would be
It would be rude, except they're not treating the prenup like they ought to. Like, it's crazy. Allie is seeing something that's happening to her.
When it should be for her.
Yes, it could be doing for her. But, you know, Christy's always going to take the side against the, like, McBee structure.
Right.
And also, too,
she was like, hell no, I didn't have one.
And I bet you she made out like a damn bandit.
Right.
I bet you she owns at least half of that farm. And I would also venture a guess, which is just a prediction, which me and Nolan will do some predictions at the end, but I bet now that Steve's gone, she's going to step in and start doing the management of it. I bet you. I will see that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit more at the end, but yeah, Galena says some menacing words at the very end, so we'll see.
So Steve's Jr. We're at the Casey condo. Nolan loves the Casey condo. She loves it so much. But Calla is there, and this is where she's talking to her mom and her niece on the FaceTime. And we learned that her sister, who died a few months earlier, had a daughter, in which her mother had to assume custody, which that is brutal. I probably should have did a trigger warning too, but I was like, girl, go to your own house. Quit hanging out with this man or hanging out in this man's face, taking advantage. This is exactly what Cole said.
It is.
Stop taking advantage of his wealth, of his privilege, of his things.
And then being mad about it.
And then being mad about it. I don't know if I believe that Christy and Allie's mom are really good friends, but I mean, they've known each other for so long that there is a comfort level too from it.
I mean, 12 years around anybody, you're gonna, be friends.
And this is what really got me though. Whenever she shows the woman, I wrote her name down, but now I can't find it. She talks about Galena and how they had to sit down on this wedding and stuff. And she shows the text message that the last one was from 2019. Did they not text before their lunch? Like, how did they set this lunch up if they weren't texting about it?
Maybe she went to before that. She's like, maybe the last text that she received before their communications was that, because it was a long ass text about Galena asking them to clean their house when Mom McBee already knew that she and Steven were sleeping together, which is tough.
Yeah.
Steve, sorry, I keep mixing them up.
Yeah. And so then they're cutting it real close with the beans and farm. See,
and this is where they say last day of harvest, but 20 minutes ago, it was the day before, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
It messes me up when they mess up this stuff.
Steven Jr., I think they're at the Jesse and Allie's farmhouse, and he makes a big speech. Yeah, we're great. Payment, no problem. But that was one payment of many more payments.
Yeah, this is $6 million. I think they're 30 in debt, right? Or 30 or 50. But that was one 6 that had to be paid. Cole's
feeling real smug. Like he single-handedly saved the farm.
Because it ended up being right. I mean, some of the counts were off, but everything ended up being fine. They paid it, no big deal. Is how they mentioned it, which...
Yeah, and this is where we learned that the Arthur Bryant deal fell through because they fucked it up. And that the car washes are finishing up, and that means that Steve Sr. can come back.
Right. Which I don't know why. Yeah, I forget who said it, but they were like, now that all the car washes are finished, that means that Dad can come back. I'm like, why does that correlate to him coming back? That's weird. But
And then the very last moments of this particular episode, well, not so much. We get part of the rehearsal dinner, but we see this car wash opening. And the big news here is that Masha shows up solely to fuck with Galena.
Because she did some quote unquote marketing, but okay.
Listen, Galena held it together for a while.
She did.
But then
we don't know how long that really was though. But.
Right. But then she could not. No,
she starts with a fucking bitch and then just goes to everything.
Well, she's winding herself up. This bitch, why the fuck is she here? I can't believe she didn't do anything. Then she confronts her.
Yeah.
And Arena, which I cannot imagine how many times Arena has had to call her mother onto the carpet this way and say, Mother, you're in a professional setting. Lower your voice.
She's only 22 though.
Yeah, I think she's in law school though, too.
She said that, but...
You don't believe it?
I mean, you're 22. I mean, she may be in her first year ever. You graduate college at 21.
Well, still.
Also, if y'all are wondering from our first episode about the pugs, they are Galena's because they were in outfits in mini cars at the car wash opening. I was very pleased to know that they were not Steve.
Galena really seems like a kind of woman who would have pugs.
Yeah,
though,
I don't know why I didn't think they were automatically hers.
She feels like a pug mom. She can't control her face or her mouth, her face the whole time. She can't quit looking over there. She's just like, grrr. And, everybody is watching it happen. This is the thing, too, is that Steve Jr. and Jesse are just leaning against the wall watching it happen. They're in the parking lot. You're a prostitute. You're insane. I'm going to get a restraining order. And you don't do anything. And who are you? Who are you? And they're just back and forth yelling.
Yeah, and Galena's walking behind her to her car.
Yeah.
Trying to get her out of there. Because, there really is no reason for her to be there other than to fuck with her.
Yeah. But Galena could have risen above it. I know it's hard, but, you are the CFO of this company. Its success depends on you. So.
And I said, too, I was like, are they really, yelling and are people really looking at them? Or are the editors being shady as hell?
Right.
Because they didn't seem like they were yelling. She said, she acted like she was talking, in a normal voice. But the editors, pan to people, looking crazy and stuff.
And
so
Steven would be like, oh, this is so bad. But, I thought that she was going to keep it together. And so in my notes, I was like, oh, G pulls it together. And then I was like, ooh, psych.
But before that, she did get a little bit of good news. Jesse invited her to the wedding.
Yes.
She was banned. Her and Masha both were banned, but now the ban has been lifted. So she can go to the wedding. And her daughter says, no drinking. which we'll figure out later is not what happens. But she says no drinking, whatever. But I thought it was really sweet because she feels like she's part of that family. I think that's really what she's upset about too, is Steve Sr.
She's feeling excluded.
Right.
And, she put so much time and effort into it. And then we go to the rehearsal, and Calla is a yes, and they're going to sit the parents together, but Steven Jr. is officiating. You have beef with this.
No, I just was like, what? Why? But he did a really good job later.
He did. I really liked what he did, but we'll talk about that in a second. And then they're steadily saying, no more Russians. Galena's the only one. Allie and Jesse pull themselves away from it, and they're sitting outside kind of in the venue, and Jesse feels really ready.
But I thought it was funny, too, that Steven was like, yep, I paid $45 for the course, and they even gave me a card. And the producers were like, did you have to pay for that card? And he was like, yep, $5.
Yeah, he's very
of
proud
course
of it.
he did. He was like, I carried everywhere with me, which I thought was cute, too.
But we learned that of all the contention between where Allie and Jesse are going to live, she gave in. She's going to live at the farm.
You called it.
She's going to live at the farm. She's given up her friends. She's probably going to have to quit her job because the job is too far to drive.
She said that. She's like, giving up my friends, my family, my job, which is a lot to ask.
Yes, but, the idea of being a McBee is obviously very important to these women. And, maybe it is. It's fine.
And I felt that this was a little manipulative too, that now that she said that she's okay, she's moving to the farm, Jesse feels all better about the wedding. He's like, oh, all the stress is lifted. I feel good. Which is a little sus, but...
It is. It's manipulative, but it's also, too, I don't know if he has the emotional capacity to process all of these things that are happening, momentarily. And meanwhile, while they're having this conversation, Steven Jr. pulls the boys for a chat. I hadn't heard shit about the prenup. This is just terrible. So maybe they'll get a post-nup. Mind your fucking beeswax.
Right. He said the farm is on the line now. Is it?
And it's setting a precedent for Cole. And then he adds, oh, me too. No, you're afraid that these women, because your daddy has said they want to control you, they want to take your money. Right. All they want is to get something out of you. And that is just needling him into his brain. And he's up in arms about it. So that's where episode 9 ends, and episode 10. And the episode 10 is called Wedding Bells and Jail Cells. But I initially wrote Wedding Bells and Jail Calls. I was like, what?
My handwriting is a little janky, too. That kind of looks like what I wrote, too, actually.
So we get this opener, and it's like, where's Calla? Where's Galena? There's a car accident. Galena's crying. Jesse and Allie.
and a pan to the biggest letters of McBee you could ever see. Rhinestone head to toe. I was like, oh my God, of course.
And then 12 hours earlier. How much do you think this wedding costs?
I have no concept of that, but 25 to 40 grand.
Girl, no.
More?
Yeah, I'm thinking $100,000 to $150,000. Yes, they had sit down for rehearsal and for the wedding. They had security. They had flowers. She had 2 dresses. They rented or bought a truck for them to leave in. All of the suits, all of everything. It's upwards of $150,000.
And who pays for wedding, mom or dad?
I bet they sort of collaborated.
But what is this?
Standard is the mother pays for it.
The mother of the bride?
Or the family of the bride. Yeah.
Oh, that seems fucked up.
Well, the groom is supposed to pay for the rehearsal dinner and the honeymoon. That's what it's supposed to. But, Jesse's so good looking. I just can't even. They're all getting ready for the wedding. It's the next day of the wedding. And Allie and her people are all drinking, sipping La Marca in their little Prosecco glasses. And the boys are shotgunning Mick Ultras.
And I will say, too, I noticed that Jesse did her twisted tea. And I was like, oh, dang, he's going to be twisted. And pops open a second one. He's like, yeah, I'm getting married today. I'm drinking.
Yeah, he'd be drinking.
But I wanted to just mention, too, that at the very end of Jesse and Steven kind of fighting about the prenup, Jesse goes, I'm not going to put that pressure on Allie. She doesn't deserve that. Because Steven's like, oh, well, we can't really count on Allie. We don't really blah, blah, blah. Jesse's like, I've known her for 12 years. I trust her. We're not putting that on Allie, which I thought was nice.
You can count on her, I think that is fairly certain you can.
And so they all made up, and Jesse's like, they agreed to always be there for me always. I was like, isn't that what brothers do anyway? But
yes, well, they're all before, and Cole is not allowed to speak at the wedding, so he gives a very mini speech right there. And Steve Jr. is hoping that this will help him get back with Calla.
And also they have security. Ex-Masha, check Galena.
Yes, 2 Russians, both blonde, both blue-eyed. But this is the one she says yes, this is the one that's no. Allie's dress is pretty, though. I like the corset. Yeah. Did you like it? No.
It was a lot of rhinestones.
Yeah, but what were you going to say? I think she was also wearing, cowboy boots, too. Steve Sr. and Christy see each other and they exchange niceties. Oh, you look so nice. Oh, you do too. So it was like, because she had some anxiety. She was feeling really worried about it. And
Kala is late and not answering the phone, which is sketchy.
And so we could talk about this at the end, but it does bear mentioning that they got married in the middle of October. And the trial for Steve Jr. was in November of 2025.
Yeah.
Right? So he was, like, this whole thing was happening.
He was just like...
Yeah. And so he was
chattering his teeth,
quite
scared.
literally on the verge of having to appear for, this is federal charges too. And we'll talk about it in a minute, what happened.
But I thought it was funny too that Steve and Casey, like Steve Sr. and Casey, walked down the aisle together. Mama, McBee, and Jesse walked, and then Steven was officiating, and then both of Allie's parents were walking her down the aisle, which was cute.
I thought that was sweet too. And Jesse's face when he sees her, oh, it is so cute. I cannot.
I know, and she goes, "You didn't cry. You were supposed to cry," and I thought that was funny.
Well, now that he's broke the seal on the crying is obviously, and I really liked Steve Jr.'s like vows. He said, the rains fell, the floods came, winds beat on the house, but it did not fall. That's nice. I don't know if ChatGPT helped him
for sure.
But also, whenever it was Allie's turn, he gives her a little wink, and I was like, "Oof, swoon!" And they're married, and
that's going to be a drinking wedding.
Yeah, yes, I'm saying. I bet the damn bar tab. I know how much the bar tab was at our wedding, and we had 85 people. I cannot imagine how much the bar tab is for 250 people. It is wild.
So Kala's no call, no show.
Going straight to voicemail.
Yeah.
Going straight to Kala. Kala, we don't know her.
Yeah. Also, Galena is a no call, no show, which is very jarring because she made such a big deal about wanting to come and feeling a part of the family. So that was really scary for her. I mean, for everybody to be like, well, where the fuck is she?
And Steve Jr.'s worried, which he's nice. And this is where he calls Arena. Yeah. Right? And she's crying. Galena was in an accident, just on their way there. The producers used her GPS to find her.
Which FBI, let's talk about FBI producers.
And they went to her, and she was literally less than a mile away. She got arrested for suspicion of driving under the influence.
Yeah, so she literally crashed her car a mile away from the venue, and the cops were like, something. She's like, no, I'm not drinking. And the cops were like, well, something's not right with you.
She didn't. She said, oh, I'm just having a nervous breakdown, which the lady cop was like, we're going to see. But I just feel so bad for Arena. Like, she's been through it. Like, I know that there's been some things that this woman has seen. And they announced Allie and Jesse. I'm choked up. And I think it's wild they're using the body cam footage.
I know. Like, they had to ask to get that. Or that's what I was wondering, too. I asked somebody about this recently. So, like, when body cam footage, obviously they always have to be recording, like, for safety for everybody, whatever.
Except if you're ICE. They don't have to worry.
But, like, do they post that somewhere? Is there, like, an archive of police cam footage that you can go look through?
You can do a request for public records, and I believe that body cam footage, just like a police report, is public record.
Okay.
And so they probably just did a request for public records and
I always
got
wonder too, like when I see them on like Facebook or like, the Snapchat videos and all that kind of stuff, like where'd they go to find these police videos?
All I could think about was Galena was barefooted in the police car.
When she got home.
In the jail cell, like barefooted. But of course, word starts to spread.
Casey can't keep a damn secret. Walks up to the wedding table that Jesse and Allie are at and goes, "You hear about Galena?" They're like, "No, we're at my wedding."
Yes, no. And I thought that Casey may have been the most sort of like emotionally checked in. I think maybe she was repeating some things because I can't tell. She might be slow.
I think she might be.
She might be.
Sorry,
Casey. Yeah, she might be touched, as my grandmother used to say. But we find out that she wasn't drinking. And they're not going to charge her. They let her go. She goes home barefooted. And Steve Sr. calls Arena, and he's like checking in with her. And he's like, oh, we wouldn't let her sit there. Which that's nice, which I'm saying. That is some Southern masculinity right there. This man cheated on her on every opportunity he could by sleeping in her house, fucking some woman behind his back. But yet he won't let her sit in jail. So that's some real Southern masculinity. And then Arena is beside herself. And she's like, something about your family is right here. Like, leave these people be. look at me. Stop trying to kill yourself for these
because
people.
she's like sitting there and she's not upset about wrecking her car. She's upset that she missed the wedding.
Yeah.
And she's just so upset. She is like beside herself that she missed this wedding. They were so good to invite her. It's like a family to her. And Arena's sitting there like, girl, I'm your family.
Yeah.
You almost killed yourself trying to get to this wedding because you were so stressed out that Masha might be there, or that you were going to see Steve Sr., you're going to see Mom McBee. You stress yourself so much that you almost killed yourself. Like, why are you doing this for them? Like, be here for me, which I thought was really like crazy. You know, that Galena couldn't realize that she was doing that.
And then there's all these scenes from the wedding. It's the garter, it's the cake, they leave in the sparklers and they drive off. And this is what really triggered my Tim Riggins reference, because they drive off in this like old Chevy truck. And I just wrote, you know what? Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose, Texas forever. Then we pick up 2 weeks later. Steve Jr. has called a meeting of the boys.
Yeah.
And y'all, I need to tell you something that even y'all don't even know about. Do we believe that this whole investigation has been going on and these boys don't know hide nor hair of it?
I don't know. I mean, the way Steven was acting, it was kind of like it was top secret because he didn't want to stress anybody out. Meanwhile, he's dying on the inside from the stress. So.
Yeah, so apparently he's under FBI investigation for the crop records for 2018 to 2020. He's facing 30 years in prison and millions of dollars in restitution. And then, so he tells them, and they're all really worried because they're like, oh, my name's on this farm too. Is it going to hurt me? Is it going to hurt me? Well, he pled guilty to a multi-million-dollar crop insurance fraud,
which we find out they only missed one filing out of 900.
So you have to account for every day that I guess it didn't get rain or whatever day that you needed assistance, and out of like 900 days he wrote the wrong day on one, which we found this out in season 3 episode 1, so we're a little bit ahead. But the idea was he gave a false statement to the insurance claim, and things just start clicking for Jesse. He's like, oh, well, now I see how this could be happening. And he starts replaying things. Well, the editors start replaying things of like little moments, and they all start feeling really unmoored, because typically they would ask their dad, like, hey, Dad, what do we do? And now Dad is in trouble. And, you know, and before we understood what the charges were, I was a little incredulous, because Steven Jr.'s like, I mean, I'm just trying to run a farm here without the government hounding us. And I'm thinking like, well, that's insurance fraud.
I was about to say, we literally said that in one of our recaps. We're like, why is everybody out to get you? Why is everybody coming for you? Why is why are they doing all these intense, audits? Well, probably because you're doing something wrong,
Yes, and the extent to which he cheated is still sort of in question. But
like, yeah, did he really only mess up one, or is that what?
And how many of those were false claims? Maybe he just fucked up on one of the false claims. He would have gotten away with it if he didn't have a clerical error. But whatever. Chrissy's like, we don't know what's going to come. And then we sort of like get some fast forward. Cole and Casey have the baby, Blair, with no E.
Yep.
Cole's emotional, and the sentencing is
I literally wrote Cole emotional.
Yeah. The sentencing is going to be May 2025.
And they're in November of 2024 when they say all of this.
And they're trying to create a legacy. The burden is on Junior's shoulders, and that's where we leave it. And so we get some kind of updates. Galena still works for McBee.
And she's going on dates. She's trying to get over Steven. She's going on dates.
Yeah. Steven Jr. is not together with Calla.
But they text every week.
There's no wedding plans for Cole and Casey
yet.
Allie and Jesse
live under one roof and had a baby in April, which shady as hell, because they were pregnant while filming. We know we did the math
on our fingers doing the math, which no shade, because I was pregnant at my first wedding and my baby was 9 months old at my second. Yeah. So there's no shade, but I just really think that they were really trying to pull one over on us too.
Right. Well, Mom said this too. She was like, and they wanted Casey to have the pregnancy story, and then them have the marriage story, which makes sense. But also, it's only 2 months. It's soon. That's very soon.
But they 100% knew. But Steve Sr. pled guilty. So when we pick up, because we're going to do the first 5 episodes of season 3. Our next drop will be the first 5 episodes of season 3.
Because episode 5 comes out tomorrow, right?
I think it's episode 6, actually.
Oh, okay.
So we'll do the first 6, and we'll kind of get caught up. We watched a little bit of season 1, but So we're mostly caught up about all means. Follow us on TikTok, on Instagram at TakeAPinoPod. If you have any beef or you want to just talk hot goss, it's Jeff at PinoPod. He loves it. Y'all send him some email. He loves it so much. And please rate and review us. That helps us get out more and more. And, send us our ideas. Follow us on all the places. And we will see you guys next week and start looking for our new content.
Goodbye.